Have you ever been betrayed by your friends or felt like, a friend of yours or a few friends stabbed you in the back? Well, in Julius Caesar, we'll find that our main character is quite literally stabbed in the back. Now, remember that to find the PDF, you'll just go back to the Schoology page here. It's going to be in this virtual classroom, and you'll just click on this book here that says Julius Caesar, and it will take you to a copy of the PDF for you to use for references for your activities. So one of the first things you'll come to is here is just a cast of characters that you can refer back to see what their role is in this play. What we are going to be reading is something referred to as a side-by-side. And basically, this just has here on the left side of the column, it has the Shakespearean verse, all in Shakespearean Old English language. And on the right side is more modernized. So we're going to begin, the scene is set in Rome at the conspirators' camp near Sardis and the plains of Philippi. Act 1, Scene 1, a street in Rome. We begin with Flavius, who is a tribune, which is just an official in Rome. Get away from here. Home, you lazy creatures. Go home. Is this a holiday? What? Don't you know? Since you are workers, you should not talk around on a workday without carrying the tools of your trade. Speak. What is your trade? The first commoner. Why, sir, a carpenter. Julius. Where is your leather apron and your ruler? Why do you have your best clothes on, you sir? What trade are you? Truly, sir, in respect of a fine workman, I am only, as you would say, a cobbler. But what trade are you? Give me a straight answer. A trade, sir, that I hope I may do with a safe conscience, which is indeed, sir, a mender of bad souls. Julius says again, what trade, wise guy, you dirty trickster? What trade? No, I beg you, sir, don't put out with me, but if you are out, sir, I can fix you. So here we have we're starting off with this great pun. A cobbler, if you didn't already know, this is someone who makes shoes. And Julius doesn't believe him. And he says again, he is a mender of bad souls. And we could look at this as the soles of your shoe or your actual soul, S-O-U-L, that he's referring to there. And we know this when he says, what do you mean by that? Fix me, you disrespectful fellow, because the cobbler the second commoner or the cobbler says that he's a mender of bad souls. And then he says, if you are out, I can fix you. And so he says, what do you mean by that? Fix me, you disrespectful fellow. Why, sir, cobble you. You're a cobbler, are you? Truly, sir, all I live by is with the all. I don't fool with any workers' matters or women's matters, but with all. I'm indeed, sir, a surgeon to old souls. When they are in great danger, I heal them. The most proper men that ever walked on a cow skin have walked on my handiwork. But why are you not in your shop today? Why do you lead these people through the streets? Really, sir? To wear out their shoes so I'll have more work. But actually, sir, we are taking the day off to see Caesar and to celebrate his victory. Why rejoice? What conquest does he bring home? What captured prisoners follow him to Rome? So we see here that all the people, the commoners, the carpenter and the cobbler here are, they're going with all these people to celebrate with Julius Caesar's victory. But Julius is you can see he's a little reluctant to rejoice right now. So I'm going to continue back with Julius here. Why rejoice? What conquest does he bring home? What captured prisoners follow him to Rome, chained to the wheels of his chariot? You blocks, you stones, you worse than senseless things. Oh, you hard hearts, you cruel people of Rome, didn't you know Pompeii? Many times you climbed up the walls and battlements to towers and windows, yes, to chimney tops, your babies in your arms, and here you sat all day patiently waiting to see the great Pompey pass through the streets of Rome. And when you barely saw his chariot appear, didn't everyone shout so that the Tiber shook under her banks? To hear the echo of your sounds made in her concave shore? And do you now put on your best clothes? And do you now choose a holiday? And do you now throw flowers in a path of the man who comes to triumph over Pompey's blood? Begone! Run to your house. Fall on your knees. Pray to the gods to hold back the deadly disease that would be fair punishment for your ingratitude. So what Marius is doing now is talking about how when Pompey was conquered foreign rulers and they all cheered for him, and Caesar's now pretty much kind of overthrown or conquered him, and now they're cheering on Pompey's like his downfall. Sort of like when we cheer when someone becomes president, and then we cheer again when they are not president anymore. And that's kind of what he's doing here, is kind of trying to talk about that with them. Flavius says, "Go, go, good countrymen, and for this weakness gather all the poor men like you. Bring them to the banks of the Tiber and weep your tears into the river until the water overflows. So exit all the commoners. Everybody leaves except for Flavius and Marius. We'll see if their poor characters are affected. They feel so guilty that they leave without speaking. You go down that way towards the Capitol. I'll go this way. Strip the statues of any decorations you find on them." Can we do that? You know it is the feast of Lupercal. It doesn't matter. Let no statues be decorated with Caesar's trophies. I'll go around and scatter the rest of the commoners. Do the same yourself wherever they are forming a crowd. These growling feathers that will pull from Caesar's wing will make him fly at an ordinary height, when otherwise he would soar too high to be seen and can keep us all under him and afraid. So, his Flavius is saying, if we stop everybody from celebrating him, he won't get to be too high above us where he could hurt us or keep us down and afraid. Act 1, Scene 2, a public place in Rome. A flourish of triumph announces the approach of Caesar. A large crowd of commoners has assembled. A soothsayer is among them. Enter Caesar, his wife, Calpurnia, Portia, Decius, Cicero, Brutus, Cassius, Casca, and Antony, who is stripped down in preparation for running the games. Calpurnia, be quiet, Caesar speaks. Calpurnia, here, my lord. Stand in Antony's path. When he runs the race, Antinous, to touch Calpurnia, for the old people say that the barren women, touched by someone running in this holy race, lose the curse of sterility. So he's saying here that he wants Antonius to touch Calpurnia because she's sterile, meaning she can't have children, and he believes that this will cure her of that. I shall remember. When Caesar says, do this, it is done. Do what you need to do and don't have out any part of the ritual. Caesar! Ha! Who calls me? Tell everyone to be quiet. Silence again. Who is in the crowd that calls on me? I hear a voice shriller than all the music cry, Caesar, speak. Caesar is turned to hear. Beware the Ides of March. Who is that? A soothsayer tells you to beware of the Ides of March. Put him in front of me. Let's see his face. And so a soothsayer would be someone sort of like a that could see the future, and they're giving him a warning sign. Cassius says, "Fellow, come out of the crowd. Look at Caesar. What do you say to me now? Say it one more time." Beware of the Ides of March. He is a dreamer. Let us leave him pass. Everyone exits but Brutus and Cassius. Are you going to watch the race? Not I. I wish you would. I do not like sports. I am not athletic like Antony. Don't let me spoil, Cassius, what you want to do. I'll leave you. Brutus, I have watched you lately. I have not seen in your eyes the kindness and friendship I used to see. You are being too stubborn and too distant from your friend who cares about you. Cassius, don't be deceived. If I have hidden my true feelings, I have been frowning. Only at myself I have been troubled lately by mixed emotions, personal matters that concern no one else, which are, perhaps, affecting the way I act. But don't let my good friends be upset, and you, Cassius, are counted as one of them. Or interpret my neglect of them as anything more serious than that poor Brutus, at war with himself, forgets to be friendly to other men. In that case, Brutus, I have misunderstood your feelings, because of which I have kept to myself certain important thoughts, worthy ideas. Tell me, good Brutus, can you see your face? No, Cassius, for the eye cannot see itself except when it is reflected by something else. That's true. And it's too bad, Brutus, that you don't have any mirrors that would show your inner qualities to you, so that you could see your reflection. I have heard that many of the most respected people in Rome, except immortal Caesar, speaking about Brutus and suffering under the troubles of his time, have wished that noble Brutus could see himself the way they see him. What danger are you leading me into, Cassius, that you want me to search inside myself for something that is not there? In that case, good Brutus, listen. Since you know you cannot see yourself without being reflected, your mirror will, without exaggeration, show you things about yourself which you don't yet realize. And don't be suspicious of me, gentle Brutus, if you think I'm a fool or someone who pretends to be a friend of everyone who promises friendship to me. If you believe that I show friendship and then gossip about my friends, or if you know that I try to win the affections of common people, then consider me dangerous. What does shouting mean? I'm afraid the people choose Caesar to be their king. Hey, are you afraid of it? Then I must believe that you don't want it to happen. I don't want it, Cassius, but Caesar is my good friend. But why do you keep me here so long? What is it that you want to tell me? If it is anything concerning the good of Rome, put honor on one side and death on the other. I will face either one. For let the gods give me good fortune only if I love the name of, or honor more than I fear death. I know what you have just said is true about you, Brutus. But as well as I know your outward appearance well, honor is what I want you to talk about. I don't know what you and other people think about life, but just for myself, I would rather die than live to be in awe of someone no better than I am. I was born as free as Caesar. So were you. We eat the same foods. We can both stand the winter's cold just as well as Caesar. One time, on a cold, windy day, when the Tiber River was rising in the storm, Caesar said to me, Cassius, I dare you to leap with me into the angry flood and swim to the spot way over there. As soon as he said it, dressed like I was, I plunged in and dared him to follow. That's exactly what he did. The current roared and we fought it with strong muscles, throwing it aside and conquering it with our spirits of competition. But before we could arrive at the designated spot, Caesar cried, Help me, Cassius, or I will sink. Just like Aeneas, our great ancestor, carried the old Anchises from the flames of Troy on his shoulder, I, from the waves of the Tiber, carried the tired Caesar, and this man is now considered a god, and Cassius a wretched creature and must bow down if Caesar even carelessly nods at him. He had a fever when was in Spain, and when he was having fits, I saw clearly how he shook. It is true, this god shook. His lips turned pale. His lips turned pale, and that same eye whose glances all the world lost his shine. I heard him groan, yes, And that tongue of his throat that persuaded the Romans to watch him closely and write his speeches in their books, alas, it cried, "Give me something to drink, Titinius." Just like a sick girl, you gods, it amazes me that such a weak man should get ahead of the rest